Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Lewis, and I'm going to show you how to give your dog an injection. This could be insulin. In my case, it's a vitamin B12, and I actually am going to use the golden retriever on this one. I always joke about how all the examples use the easy golden retriever, but my other dogs are pretty tired of me right now. So this is Tasha. She's watched me do some stuff to the dogs and thinks I'm up to no good, but she will just be a good girl while I go over this. So here's the injection. I can go over how to measure the amount, but your vet will go over the amount because everyone's going to be doing slightly different amounts of slightly different things. So the most important thing, again, I always say, set yourself up for success. So you want to have a TREAT handy to give them right afterwards, just so they don't feel like you're torturing them totally. I caught Tasha during her nap time, so that works pretty well for me. I'm going to show you how to hold a syringe, because a lot of people would get so caught up with where it goes in the dog that then we're like, it's in the dog and we're holding it and we're like, oh, we didn't plan this very well. It's our instinct to hold the syringe like this. And that's great to put in the dog, but then when you have to depress the plunger, that's where you get kind of problematic. So you want to get used to holding it like this, because we have a good hold on it with 3 fingers, but then this finger is free to depress the plunger, and that's what we need. So I also want to point out a couple things. Some syringes, but not all, have a screw-on needle. The whole needle comes off when you do this. Or when you just pull, that's how you get the sharp, pointy, stabby part that you want. Now, if this is an insulin syringe or a really tiny syringe, which yours probably is, you might not be able to even see the bevel, but a bigger needle, you might see a little bevel on it and that it has kind of an angle. So if it's a bigger needle that you can actually see, you want to hold it up so the longer part is on top and it angles like this. A needle this size, this is a 25 gauge, it's not going to matter. Insulin, you can't even see it, so don't even worry about it. So the next thing we want to do is, that's why the dog crashing the party. You want to find a good spot on your dog. It can be, we're giving this subcutaneously, okay? We're not giving this in the muscle, so it can go anywhere on the dog. Most of the time, we recommend giving it up here for a couple reasons. First of all, well, look at all this skin. There's plenty of skin for us to work with. Second of all, this area has a small number of nerve endings, so they're less likely to feel it. That's why veterinarians often give shots here. Back here, there's a little more nerve endings, so it could be not terrible, but less easy. There's less, skin to deal with. Up here, most dogs, you can get a decent amount. Now, Tasha here, I can get entire handfuls on. Most dogs, you might just, pinch a little bit like that. So what we're gonna do is pick an easy spot. You wanna pinch the skin up and make kind of a tent. And with a fluffy dog, it can be hard because you want to get in the skin and not the fur. So we're gonna pinch up, and you can do this angle, you can do this angle, you can do this angle. Whatever works for you, right-handed, left-handed, whatever you're comfortable with, the angle doesn't matter. So we're gonna pinch the skin, maybe part some fur. Some people like to put alcohol on them. I think it just offends the dog and makes them think we're up to no good, so I don't. But it is good to, if they're super fluffy, to part the fur and let you know where you're putting the actual injection. So I will part the fur, I pinch up a good spot here, and if you feel, again, I'm holding the syringe like this, not like this, but before you get to that point, feel kind of here, you want to have they call it a tent, like a little space between where your fingers are and where your dog's body is. And then what you do is, I'm going to put the needle in, and you want to put the needle in confidently, which I know the first time you do it, you have zero confidence, but if you put it in, it actually can hurt worse, where if you just kind of go, hey, we're not like stabbing it in, but just kind of a single meaningful movement, you'll be good. So I'm gonna put this in first. It's in. Now I'm going to depress it and pull it out. I always feel afterwards too, if they're wet, then that means they probably didn't get it. You want to make sure it's in, and then you depress, and not depress while you're putting it in, because otherwise it won't go with the dog, it'll go on the dog. Now, there are some people who, if you're giving a large amount, they say that you should put in and then pull back to make sure you're not in a vein or anything like that. That's kind of an old-fashioned thing. Some people do it out of a force of habit. You can. I personally don't. It makes it more awkward because you're trying to push this in, you're trying to pull this out, put it, by that time your dog's over it. So in humans, when they give us shots, they just kind of stick it in and go. Now, if you're giving a shot in a muscle, that's a different thing. We're not doing that, okay? This is just under the skin. So now afterwards, Tasha didn't care. So usually I give a treat, but she just wants love. So yeah, that's how I do it. Now, after this, you want to make sure you dispose of the sharp needle safely. Often we'll recommend like a milk jug or something to put that in. You can, if you want, recap this, although a lot of people, it's not recommended because, believe it or not, this is a thick plastic cap and this is a little tiny needle, but I speak from experience, this needle can bend through this cap and poke you and you bleed a lot. I might know that just because that might have happened to me like 20 times. So anyway, it's best to just put in a milk jug or a sharps container, whatever you've got, and then dispose of it appropriately. So giving your dog a shot, as you see, is no big deal, and you can do it.